The big game is fast approaching, but wait, you still haven't got your tickets. You've spent hours searching, but you're still confused about ticket prices. Time to stop searching. Visit ticketcompare.com. We compare ticket prices for all the popular leagues and tournaments for you. We work only with the most trustworthy sites, so you can have peace of mind when buying your tickets. Compare prices, buy tickets, get to the game. Ticketcompare.com. Buying tickets made simple.
To have been offered the role and accepted instantly, really, because it's a proud moment for me to be sitting there as a head coach here at West Brom Football Club, a club I hold really dearly, and I'm looking forward to the job ahead.
You did so well in your time as caretaker manager. Would there have been a part of you that would have felt slightly aggrieved if you hadn't been offered the role?
No, I was perfectly fine. What I did was got my head down, worked extremely hard for the 6 or so weeks in charge. I explained to you all that it was a six games, and everyone was approached with the same manner, with the same work rate, with the same intensity, and was delighted that at the end of the 6 games, the results that we got. There was a process that had to go ahead, what we do at West Brom Football Club, and I was really pleased that the club offered me the role as a head coach, and I was pleased to accept it, and here we are today.
Do you know what the makeup of your coaching team will be, your backroom staff? Is that confirmed?
Yeah, I know there's still an additional backroom team staff to come in, but at the moment I'm staying with James Shan and Neil Cutler. And then, of course, in due course, there'll be another member added to the team. What
sort of role will they be playing? Can you say who they'll? I presume you can't give us a name yet.
No, I can't give you the name yet, but the person will be the assistant head coach.
How big a challenge have you got on your hands here? Have you been told what the expectations are, and what would your expectations be for the coming season?
No, it's what I will say to you is that along with ourselves, there's another 23 clubs in the Championship, which we all, I'm sure, it's a very, very tough, grueling, relentless league that has many, many different challenges, and challenges we're going to have to face. And the only way we're going to overcome those challenges is being the absolute best that we can as a football club as a whole. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to sort of seeing the league again, because I've been a previous player there, played a lot of games there. I understand the challenges that lie ahead, and it's really just getting us ready as a football club for those challenges, which before not too long will be upon us.
Does the ultimate ambition have to be promotion though?
The ultimate ambition is definitely to keep this club moving forward. I mean, to turn around and say it's promotion, there's another 23 football clubs along with ourselves. It's a tough league, the Championship is, and it'd be wrong for me to say that, because everybody's vying for that special prize, and we're no different to all the other clubs in the Championship. So it's going to be a difficult, grueling encounter, but certainly one that we're looking forward to. Yeah.
A busy summer ahead, I guess. What will your role be in terms of transfers, and what will the budget be?
Well, again, all that hasn't been discussed, as you can respect the fact that the role was offered to me on Friday, and we're here on Monday morning. So we'll come together as a football club. That's one thing that will be clear, and then we'll look forward to what I'm sure is going to be a busy transfer window, not just for us here at West Brom, but for the other clubs. And but together we'll meet those decisions.
Mark, can you maybe tell us a bit more? Why was Darren the right man for the job, and what will his role be exactly? Will he have a say in transfers?
Darren obviously was interviewed along with several other people, but he also had a period of time where he had 6 matches and he did extremely well. But more than anything, Darren encapsulates everything we want at this club. His pride, his loyalty, his honesty, his hard work, and what's more than anything, he loves the Albion, and that's what we want from all our staff, not just the head coach, the players, and every member of staff within this organisation. After 8 years in the Premier League, we need to get back to those real principles that are fundamental to the club, And that, I believe, if we have everyone working together, as Darren has quite eloquently said many times, we will go forward.
And do you know yet his role in terms of, obviously the label is head coach?
Yep.
Does that mean he'll have a say in transfers? And
Definitely.
What will the setup be?
There will be no player brought in without Darren saying yes to that. That's always been the case when I've been the chief executive here. There's no point bringing players here that Darren doesn't want, because they're simply not. They won't play. It's just pointless. So Darren will have a key part in the recruitment process.
And do you know yet what his budget will be?
It will be obviously a very strong budget, because obviously we've just been relegated from the Premier League. But as I've always said, it's not how much you spend, it's what you spend it on. I think clearly the last 12 months have demonstrated that, in that the club have probably misspent in areas. Going forward, we just need to work harder on our recruitment, work harder on many areas of the business, and take the club forward in that way.
Do players have to be sold in terms of lowering the wage bill for this club?
No. This club does not have to sell any player to balance the books.
And in terms of that, Darren, have you had conversations? Do you know now, in terms of the players that are out of contract, will they be offered new contracts, and do you kind of know exactly what you want in terms of the players you already have here at the club?
Well, again, obviously having been there sort of just stepping in there this morning, I think it's I will be speaking to the players at some point this week and discussing further with them. As you can respect that, this morning, having just sat in front of you, I've not had the opportunity to speak to them, but certainly at some point in the week I will catch up with them.
Is it important to try, though, to keep the nucleus of the side together, to keep as many players here as possible?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're all contracted here at West Bromwich Albion Football Club, and I think that the first thing for me is to speak to our players as individuals, because they're West Bromwich Albion players. So that will be one of the key things that I'm looking to do and achieve this week, is to speak to them and have discussions with them, as I'd briefly before at the end of the season, but as again, now that the role's been confirmed, I would like to speak to them more as individuals.
And you've got a real chance to shape things this summer. What kind of football can the fans expect next season?
The fans can expect, I mean, as I said about the league has many different challenges, many different hurdles, and they'll see a team that when it's needed to play football will play football and compete against the very best, or all teams in the division, but also there'll be a team that's willing to sort of fight and scrap for every ball, because there's those challenges ahead in the season as well. So there's many different challenges, but we've got to create a team here at West Brom that when those challenges come, we're well prepared for it, and looking forward to those challenges.
Darren, what's your coaching philosophy?
My coaching philosophy is to build a team that enjoys working hard football, playing like I said, attractive football when it's needed to be, but also a team that has the different dimensions to it, that depending on what hurdles that this championship has to throw up at it, has the qualities to deal with it mentally, physically, as well as being good, astute players.
At what point as a player did you decide that you perhaps wanted to be a coach? And at what point did you think maybe one day I could be in charge of West Bromwich Albion?
I've always had a wonderful desire to be a coach, because once I finished playing my football, I always thought the next best thing is to sort of coach within the game. I think once you then get into coaching, I think you're then able to assess yourself, the ability to step in, to lead, and I think that only comes by that. You can have the aspirations, but I think you need to go through that process. And certainly once I finished playing and I went into the coaching, working alongside the players, was excellent. And then you get a taste of being back on the front line as a coach. So and I've been in different roles with other different managers where I've been on the front line. I've worked under some extremely experienced managers, real extreme, and been part of their staff. And I think all those sort of coincide. I think having the characteristics, the leaderships, the coaching, the confidence to be able to lead, and hopefully by sitting up here, I tick those boxes.
You seemed very calm on the touchline, and the thing that stands out for me was the winner against Tottenham in the last minute. Are you able to distance yourself from the fact that you're a former player and a fan when it comes to match day? Will we expect to see an Antonio Conte run up and down, or will you stay calm and measured?
Well, one thing, my knees ain't good enough for he does at the moment, but what I always want to stay connected with the game, and I think you've seen me that as a brief spell, and that winner against Tottenham was me still staying connected to the game, because even though it turned out to be a winner, we still had another 2 or 3 minutes to play, and with the experience and the quality that Spurs have got on the pitch on that particular day, it only takes a second to score a goal. So when you see me, I'm really engaged in the game and focused, and you're almost sort of kicking and heading every ball, but also you're trying to stay connected in the game for little slight minor changes what might be happening, and that's the reason why the focus is in there right until that final whistle. And I think that's how I'll continue.
Football has made great strides in terms of equality. There are very few black managers. Do you see yourself as a role model? Do you think your colour matters? I am a role model, because I'll probably leave it out there for you all to look at that. But one thing what I'll say is that by me sitting here in the position and role I've got, is that it's an inspiration to all young British coaches right across. He's sitting up here, and hopefully the role today inspires them right away from grassroots football right into the professional game. And if it does do that to individuals, then I'm extremely proud, yes. Earlier this year we lost Cyril Regis. Does this give extra meaning to you to become the manager within months of losing one of the most famous, one of the most loved players?
Yeah, and what I will say is that Cyril was a personal friend of mine, somebody that I held in real extremely high regard, and somebody that if he was with us here today would certainly be a part of this, because very, very experienced man, somebody that I spoke to regularly about football, a knowledgeable man about the game, inside and out, and a great thoughts on the game. So somebody that I hold in high regard, and I'm really proud, and I know that I'm sure he's looking down upon us now, and he's saying it, yes, very, very happy.
Can you perhaps do for black managers what Cyril did for black players? Again,
I'm in this role representing, like I said, BAME coaches and young British coaches, but again, my focus is for West Bromwich Albion Football Club. That is my sole focus for the football club, and being part of a wonderful team, a fan base, a representation of the football club and the community as a whole going forward. So as I said, I'm one of their own, the supporters here. I'm local to the area, and all these things that Mark has spoken about is what I carry dearly, sort of moving forward into this role at this football club.
Darren, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Darren. Mark, okay?
Can I just quickly ask, Mark, is this a gamble at all, appointing Darren?
No, Darren's the right man for the job.
Sorry, go on, Simon.
Could I just ask Mark one question? When you took over again as chief executive, there was a statement came out on your behalf, and it painted a fairly bleak picture of the club finances. You've just said there that you don't have to sell players.
No,
which is it?
No, the reason why I painted the picture was that when I left the club, it was in an extremely good state. I said there was £40 million worth of surplus funds in the bank account. That has gone. However, the club is still financially very, very solvent, and as I say again, doesn't need to sell any players. It's just any excess has gone.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Mark. Darren?
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Phase 3 is photographs.
The written press afterwards.